These are my cloverleaf dinner rolls. So let's get on with the ingredients. 1 1/4 cups of regular milk, 4 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup of butter, and I'm using unsalted butter, 1/4 cup of warm water, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 egg, 2 tablespoons of regular white sugar, and 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. So those are the ingredients, so let's get started. Okay, so to start off this recipe, I have my warm water here. I've got my yeast. I'm just going to pour the yeast in there. The yeast always needs food. This is our 2 tablespoons of regular white sugar. I'm just going to take a teaspoon of that and just get that on there just like that. Perfect. Just grab a little fork. You can just kind of mix it in there. Okay, we're just going to let that sit there while we start on the rest of our recipe. Okay, so our next step, I've got my milk here and my butter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to heat the milk up, and then we're going to pop the butter in, melt it down, and then we're ready for our next step where we're going to start combining all of our ingredients together. So I'm going to go microwave this to make it really, really simple. I'll do that. I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I microwave my milk. It's pretty hot, but it's not boiling. We don't need it boiling. I'm just going to drop in our butter. We just want it warm enough to actually start melting our butter down. Okay, so that's pretty easy. Now I'm going to set up my mixer. We're going to let this melt. I'll be back in 1 second. Alright, I'm going to take all of my really, really active yeast here. You could see while I was preparing my mixer, the yeast really went crazy. So at least we know that it's working very, very well. There we go. And then I'm going to pour in our milk and butter mixture. I'm going to get in all of my salt as well. Okay, and then I'm going to get in a cup and another cup of my flour. Okay, I've been mixing for about a minute or so. I'm just going to add in all of the rest of our sugar, and I'll pop our 1 egg in there as well. There we go, and we'll get that going. So at this point we have 2 cups of flour in there. I'm going to add in our 3rd cup of flour. There we go. And I'm going to get that going. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to let the mixer really start to combine this before I add any more flour at this point. So I'll just let this go and I'll be back in a little bit. Alright, we'll add in another cup of flour. Just like that. And we'll get that going. So I'll let that go for another minute or so and then I'll come back. Alright, this is not even a minute later and you can see now that it's really starting to form. So I just want to let that go for a little longer. Alright, and then I'm going to add in another cup and we'll see how we go. Alright, so at this point I've been mixing for about another 2 minutes or so. I didn't want to actually tape the whole thing because then it'll get rather boring, but you can see the dough is really, really coming together now. You can see that it's really picked up. All the sides of the bowl are nice and clean. That's something that I'm looking for. So at this point what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to let this go. I just want to knead this for another maybe 2 or 3 minutes, just on speed number 3 or 4. So I'll say that again. I want to just let the machine knead the dough for another 3 or 4 minutes on speed number 3 or 4, just to really, really, really work this well, and then I'll come back, okay? And then we'll get on to the next step. Alright, that looks really, really good at this moment. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to remove my dough hook, just slide it right off, just like that. Remove that. I'll get my KitchenAid mixer out of the way. So at this point now I can bring the dough right out and look at the inside. Perfect. Now what you can do is you can take a glass bowl or a metal bowl, spray it with some cooking spray or lightly grease it, and you can just pop your dough in just like this. However, to save on dishes, what I always like to do is I just like to use the original bowl. So I'm just going to spray this with some cooking spray, and I'll be back. I'm going to pop this in there, and then we're going to let it rise. Okay, so I've just sprayed the inside of my bowl. I'm just going to grab my dough. I just want to knead it a little bit, just get it into a nice little ball. Just like that. You can see this dough is going to be really, really, really nice. Okay, there we go. I'm going to take this now and just drop it right in there. And now I'm just going to spray the top with cooking spray. I've sprayed the top. The reason why that we spray the top and the bottom is because we want the dough to be able to expand. If the dough dries out, what will happen is it will inhibit it from actually rising and expanding. So, by keeping it moist like this, it allows the dough to really expand and double in volume. So I'm going to cover this with a tea towel. Okay, so I'm going to grab my tea towel. I'm just going to cover it like that. I'm going to go put it in a warm area of my kitchen near the stove, and we're going to let that double in volume, and I'll be back later. Okay, it's 45 minutes later, and I just want to show you how nice our dough is looking. Now you can let this go for another 15 minutes or so. An hour is fine as well. Our dough is really risen, really, really nice. So at this point, I'm just going to take it right out. You can see how beautiful this dough is. Let me just lift it up. It's like a big pillow. It is really, really, really nice. Look at this. Beautiful dough. So I'm just going to flip it upside down. I'm just going to punch out all of the air, just like that. Okay? And the next thing that I want to do now is I want to cut this into 20 equal balls. Okay? So I'm just going to start dividing this up. You don't have to do 20, you could do, 18, it doesn't really matter. So we're just going to whip through this. 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay, that's good enough. So I'm going to take each one, and I just want to get 3 balls out of each one, just like that. Okay? And then we're going to put these into muffin tins. So I'm just going to go grab each one, just give it a little push in the middle, flip it around, flip it over, just do this, just like that. I have my tray here, and what I did was I sprayed it with some cooking spray. Okay, this is vegetable cooking spray. So let's just sum up what we did. So I took these balls, I took the large ball, broke it down into 16 large balls. Then I took one of these and I broke it down into 3 smaller balls. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply place these into the muffin tin. Just like that. Alright, I have just finished. You can actually see that a couple of these ones here are already starting to grow in volume. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to lightly spray these again with cooking spray because I want to keep them moist. If you don't want to use cooking spray, you can use a little sprayer. So I have 4 pieces of dough left over. What I did was I just rolled them into little, logs. And what I'm going to do, instead of making more little dinner rolls, I just want to make a very, very quick little cute dinner roll, little braided roll. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly braid it up, just like that. There we go, just to be a little different. Nice. I've sprayed some cooking spray on there as well. I'll just get that on there, just like that. I'm going to spray the top of that as well. I'm going to let that rise. I'll bake this one off as well, and I'll show you that as well at the end, just for fun. So these have risen quite a bit. I'm going to pop them into my oven now, 375 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll tell you exactly how long I bake them when I get back. Off to the oven. So my cloverleaf dinner rolls have completely baked now. They were in the oven for a total of 20 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Now the first thing that I want you to notice is that these two look a little different than these, and the reason why is I put a little bit of egg wash on these when there was about 10 minutes remaining in the oven. I just wanted to show you what egg wash does to the top of bread. It really, really enhances the actual, little dinner roll. So what I'll do is this is a little bit warm, I'm just going to bring out the 2 that I did, and we'll bring out one of these and one of these, and there we go. Okay, And I guess what I'll do right now before I forget is actually open this up so you can actually see how nice these are inside. Look at this. Really, really nice. And it just smells so good in the kitchen right now. I'll just have to taste a little piece. That's good. Really, really good with some butter, you know, maybe a nice spaghetti dinner. These will just go really quickly. Really, really yummy. All right, and then my little braided loaf. I just wanted to show you what that looks like. That one there is still quite hot. Now for my braided loaf, I actually did the egg wash right at the beginning of the bake, and this was also baked for 20 minutes. And I'll just show you my egg wash. So here's my egg wash, and this is simply 1 egg yolk with a tablespoon of water, and I just mixed that really well. I just whisked it up, and then you just take it with your brush and you just, you know, just slather it right over the entire area and then right into the oven. So that's all it is. So you can actually see how nice the bread is. So there we go, there's our braided loaf. And then I'll just hold up 2 of these so you can see the difference here. This one's really, really highlighting the egg wash. And look at the difference. You can see there's a nice shine on here. And it's also got a little bit browner. Really, really nice. You can see the difference. So this here looks much more appetizing, but I wanted to show you both ways so that you could see. Obviously inside the taste is going to be the same, but it's all about looks. You know, so if you were at your bakery, which one are you going to buy? You're probably going to buy this one. You're not going to buy this one. You will buy this one though. So what's nice about these is that because they're the little clover leaf, it's just very, very easy for you to pop them open just like that. But these are really, really good. I hope you try this recipe. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. And please subscribe to my Bake Like a Pro YouTube channel, and also click that notification bell to be alerted every time I upload a brand new video. If you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. On the screen now, you can choose a video to watch, or you can also click and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And thank you once again for taking time out of your day to watch my video. I really appreciate it.